everyone, welcome back to my channel. Oh yes, I'm down here. As you can tell, we are in a different location today with worse lighting and an interesting setup because we are taking care of my plants today. So for this intro, I just wanted to gather all of my plant family together into the bathroom and explain what we're doing today. So it is winter and a lot of my plants need some help. I've kind of gone back and forth between calling this video plant hospital and getting my plants ready for winter. So maybe I will call it both. I guess you'll know before I do. So I just wanted to gather everyone together to kind of make this easier to film. Don't worry, I'm not going to film the entire video like this. This is normally what I do with them, like once a week or so. I actually use an app called Planta that reminds me to water the plants, and it knows like how often each type of plant needs to be watered. So I use that app. Sometimes I don't keep up with it. So normally like once a week, I'll bring everybody in here, the whole family, and everybody gets watered. But because we're going into winter, I just wanted to do some more like intensive care to these plants. I am by no means an expert about plants. I am very much a beginner. I'm not completely a beginner because I've had some of these plants for a while, but I'm not an expert. I don't have expert advice to give you. But I can just show you the plants that I have and what I'm doing to prepare them for the winter season. I have restless leg syndrome, and sitting on the floor like this is starting to hurt me. So I'm gonna get up and I will show you some more of the plants. So here we have almost the whole family. There's a few plants that are not in here. I think it's just my cuttings, and then I have a couple pothos plants that are in the other room and I just watered them, so I didn't bring them in here. But this is pretty much everyone. I think I have 15 potted plants in total. And then as cuttings, I have quite a few more that I'll show you as well. But this is everyone. So as you can see, some of the plants have dead leaves. And they just need a little bit of TLC to kind of clean them up. Most of them also need to be watered. So I'm just gonna take them one by one and get them ready for the winter. So first up is this prayer plant. It just has some dead leaves. It went through a difficult period of time when the weather changed and some of its baby leaves died. So I'm just gonna snip these off and throw them away. And other than that, this plant doesn't really need too much from me. I'm gonna water it. It's been growing pretty well. I think when I first got it, it was only a couple of leaves and then it almost completely died. And now it's back to being pretty good. So I'm just gonna water it. It has a good spot in the house where it's happy, so I'm just gonna put it back in the same spot when I'm done. Next up is this plant. By the way, I will try to put the names of the plants scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I don't know them all off the top of my head, and some of them I can't pronounce, but I will put them on the screen if you wanna see what they're called. But this plant is really not doing well. He was in my, I think it was my apartment tour video when I said, oh, he's been suffering lately. Well, look at him now. He looks so bad. Like pretty much all of his leaves are dead except for like one or two. So I don't know if this plant is gonna survive. I don't know what to do with him. I think I'm just gonna take off the dead leaves and probably move him to a new spot. This plant has been in the bathroom because it can tolerate low light and it likes humidity. At least that's what I thought. So I kept it in the bathroom, but it's just been steadily dying since it's been in here. So I think I'm gonna try moving it to a new place. Where that is, I don't know yet. So I cut most of his leaves off. He has like 3 leaves left. This one is not doing so hot, but maybe putting him in a new place will help him out. Next up is this guy. I believe this is called Philodendron Birkin. He's doing okay. He's growing kind of slowly and he has some of this like yellowy stuff on the top. So I think I might also try moving him to a new place because he's been in the bathroom and I don't know if he really likes it in here. He does have a new leaf right here. So I don't know. He's kind of growing sideways. Like I think he just needs a little TLC. He does have a drainage hole cut in the bottom of him. Not all of my ceramic pots have that, and they all really should, so I need to do that. I'll probably do that in the spring when I'm repotting some plants, but this one does have a hole, so that's good. Speaking of suffering, we have this boy. This is, I believe, a type of Calathea. I don't really know how to say that. I think its common name is peacock plant. And obviously this plant is suffering. Like, he has so many dead leaves. I've moved him around a couple times, and I think that he enjoys the spot where he's at now because he's put out a couple new leaves since he's been in the new spot. So I think I'm gonna keep leaving him in the new place. I'm just gonna get rid of all of this like nasty dead leaves. Well, apparently I spoke too soon because the new leaf just fell off of this plant when I gently was touching it, so that's not good. I don't really know if these can propagate, but maybe I'll try. This plant, I like I said, these plants are notoriously difficult to take care of, so we'll see what happens with him, but that was a little bit sad. So this one still has some damaged leaves. I left them on here because I don't want to take all of its leaves away. I want to give it something that it can use, especially if I move it. Well, I don't think I'm going to move it, but I didn't want to take all its leaves away and just like see how it does because it has beautiful leaves. They're just, you know, kind of burnt up and crispy right now. But I have high hopes for this one. We'll see. Next up is this plant who has been absolutely thriving. I put her in a new spot and she's doing so well. She's grown so much. She does have a little bit of damage on the tips of the leaves. I think these are the leaves that were right up next to the window, but look how pretty. This plant has pink in it. The backs of the leaves are all pink, and then it has like some light pink on the leaves. They look like they're painted. They're so pretty. I've also noticed this plant has been getting these like little white spots that almost look like paint, and I wipe them off periodically. I don't know what is causing this, but every once in a while it just gets these weird white spots. If you know what these are, please let me know because I don't know. I hope it's not like a bug or an infestation or something because this plant has been doing so well. Next is my ZZ plant. I got this plant for free from Buy Nothing and it's doing fine. There's really no concern I have about this plant. I think that they're pretty slow growing normally, especially in the winter, but he really just needs some water and that's about it. Okay, next is my angel wing begonia, which is probably my #1 favorite plant. I love this plant so much. I had one of these when I lived in Charlottesville, and unfortunately it did not survive my move to Philly. But look at this. This whole stalk, which like, look how long it is. It goes all the way down. This is the tallest stalk on the entire plant. That whole stalk has grown within the past like couple months. All of that is new growth. I need to get another bamboo stick for this because it's getting too tall, but this plant is so pretty. I love the leaves. I believe that this plant can flower, although that mine never has. Maybe it will in the spring, but I'm not really concerned about this one either. It's in a great spot, so I just need to water it. Next, I have this pothos plant. This is the mother plant, and then I have a bunch of babies. So this is one of the babies. It's doing pretty good. And then I have a bunch more that are potted and also some cuttings. These guys are doing fine. They really don't need anything. As you probably know, pothos are very easy to take care of. So I'm just gonna water them and put them back in their spots. This next plant is one of my all-time favorites. I think if angel wing begonia is my favorite, this one is tied with it. So as you can see, I'm holding it up because this is a huge vine. If I let it go, it will just kind of flop over. So this is a trailing plant. The spot that I have it in, it has something to climb on, but I am obsessed with this plant. When I got it, it was just like 2 or 3 leaves. I think these were like the original leaves that I had. And the bottom leaves are a little damaged. My cat actually got to this plant because it was in an accessible spot. So now I've put it up where the cats can't get it, and look how much it's grown. It's gotten so long. And it has all these new leaves. The new leaves have fenestrations, which is what this plant is kind of known for. The name of this plant is really funny. I think it's called Rapidoptera tetrasperma. I think that's how you say it. So it's doing really good. It has a good home in my bedroom, right in the window. And the pot that it's in used to belong to my grandmother, which is very special. So this is one of my favorite plants. It's also doing fine. It just needs to be watered. And the last plant I'm going to talk about, yes, it is sitting on my toilet because I had no other place to put it, is this plant. I can never remember what this is called. I think it also has like a weird name, but this is another trailing plant. So it's also kind of like pinkish purplish on the underside, and then the top is like a lighter color. When I got this, it's a hanging plant, but it was just like, it didn't hang over the edge at all. It was just the top of the basket. And in the time that I've had it, it's grown so much. And I've also taken cuttings from this. The cuttings are doing okay, but this plant overall is doing really amazing. I rotate it every now and then so it doesn't like curve too much one way. But this hangs in my window. It's pretty happy. It does have a couple dead leaves that I'll probably pick out, but other than that, it's doing really well. So these are the 2 leaves that fell off while I was watering the plants. So I figured this would be a good time to show you my plant cuttings. So I keep most of my cuttings up here. Most of these are actually a monstera plant that was like a big mother plant, and my cats were just like being too destructive with it. So I ended up cutting it apart into cuttings. They're all in separate jars and they're doing really well. So I change the water on these about once a week. And then in the front here, I have some of my like little tiny plants. So there's the begonia, the one that I can't remember the name of. There's a pothos. So these all live up here. They get pretty decent light from this window over here, and they're happy. I think that they can live in water, especially the monsteras, if they get fertilized. I've never fertilized them and they've been in water for like a year, but so far they're doing fine. I probably should replant them eventually, but I think I'm also gonna give some of these as gifts for the holidays. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for hanging out with me and letting me show you my plants. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for another Vlogmas video. Bye!